Hey, how you doing? Great. We don't have anybody on Zoom so far. We'll see. We have all these crazy cords. I'm probably going to sit still for this class. We were all at Bold yesterday, and we think we accidentally left the power cable for the computer that's in this room at that building. So it was a little bit of a crazy morning just because like Sarah's home sick. So we didn't, like, none of us thought, oh, look, Sarah's not here. We need to set up the classroom. Wow. So, you know, it was a scramble to do it. And then realize the cord wasn't here. Exactly. So we're still one of these days. All right, let's see. Yeah, so with command, how are you guys feeling about like what you do in command already with you know, getting contacts in? Is everybody feeling comfortable so far with what they do?
I think I feel good about the contacts in. I just got back from a long vacation, so I'm now ready to
Good.
And there's so many things that are past due.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. You'll get caught. You'll catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll catch up. I have some past due tasks yesterday too, because yesterday we were in Bold all day, and after I was done Bold, I just didn't have it in me, you know.
Yeah, yesterday after I was there to do it, after I got home, I was like, all right, this was enough.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So I have some past due tasks too. Yeah. So here's what we're talking about today is opportunities. Okay. And what I'm going to get into is kind of how to use opportunities to run your whole business. Everybody here knows me. I'm going to introduce myself to the Zoom because we're recording it in case anybody's watching this later. I'm Kirsten. I'm a realtor. I'm a coach here, and I'm a trainer here also. And I'm the office command expert. So I'm the one teaching this class. And I really want to encourage people to do opportunities kind of the way they're intended to be done. Okay, because here's what happens with most people's opportunities. In order to get paid, you need to make an opportunity. Okay, you cannot, to go through the whole process, submit your commission, all that, you have to have an opportunity. So some people make an opportunity like the day before settlement, right? Because they're ready to get paid. The problem with that is they're not taking advantage of all of the other things that you can get from an opportunity. So with the main thing that I want to have you guys know about is that with an opportunity, if I am creating an opportunity early on in the process. So me personally, I create an opportunity as soon as somebody tells me they are planning to buy or sell real estate in the next year. That's when I start the opportunity. Okay. The reason I'm doing that is your opportunity is your pipeline. It's your plan for, you know, what you have coming up in the next year. It's your projections, you know, for what income you have already in your contacts. And so if you have an opportunity, first of all, it tells you, here's what business I have coming up. Okay. Also, the other thing it tells you is, here are the people that I need to make sure I'm not forgetting, right? Because sometimes we forget to call people, you know, if they've said, let's say somebody tells you, I want to buy next spring. Well, guess what? There's a pretty good chance that might move earlier, you know, unless there's some, you know, thing why spring is important and they can't, I have kids in school. I don't want to move schools. Okay, they're buying in the spring because they don't want to switch schools. Okay, that might not move forward. I should be calling them, you know, once a month now if they've said they want to move in the spring. Okay, and I don't want to forget them because this is a person I've already connected with. So by doing this properly, it's going to give you a couple of things. The first thing is it's going to give you an overview of the money that you have coming in, like how much commission you can expect coming up in the next year from what you already have in your database. It's also going to give you kind of a list of who are the people I need to be sure that I'm staying in contact with. And then the third advantage that I see for doing this from the beginning is that when you get to that point where you have a person who's ready to buy or sell, you're going to be less in panic mode, okay? Because you've already started the process. I do things as early as possible rather than waiting till the last minute, and then I don't run into trouble later on. You know, like sometimes I see people who the settlement's already happened and the office has the check and they haven't done any of the things they need to do in command yet. And so they're getting delayed in their payment because they can't submit the thing saying, please pay me, you know, because they didn't do it. I do it early, right? So that if I get busy, even though for me, I've done it enough times, it's not going to take me very long. Sometimes I'm just busy. I'd rather have it done as much as possible upfront. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm going with it. So in command, we already know that you've got the apps on the left side of your screen, right? So all of these things on the left are my apps. And if you ever are confused about which app is which, if I click on the red square with the white KW in it, you click on that, it expands it so that you can see which of these things each of these is, right? So I can see contacts, tasks, SmartPlans, referrals, etc. All right, so we're going to go to opportunities. Click on that. All right, and this is my command with my opportunities that are in here. So here's what this is showing me, is that for each of these phases, this is how many contacts I have in that phase. So I have 4 listings that are in the cultivate stage. So cultivate means I'm just like they have said they wanted to list. You know, maybe it's sometime in the future. It's not coming up yet. Appointment means that I have either scheduled an appointment or already had an appointment with them. Okay, but we haven't listed yet. Active listings, under contract listings, closed listings. Same idea with buyers. I've got buyers who are cultivate sometime, you know, they're the next year, maybe something like that. They're far off in their process. Some I've had an appointment with, some that are active buyers right now under contract or closed. There's one for leases too. So it lets me see in each phase who are the people that are there. So I'm going to just click on this so that you can see. So let me just click on my buyers here. All right, so look what I've got. When I clicked on my buyers under cultivate, it's even broken down further. So now here are all my buyers who've said that they want to buy a house. And this is 9+ months. So 9 months to 9 to 12 months. These are the people in that phase. And these are the people who've said not 3 to 6, 3 to 9 months, and then 0 to 3 months. Now, guess what? Whatever they tell you might not be accurate, right? You're going to find times when they tell you, like I'm just looking at it, this particular person was ready to buy and also sell, and then there was a personal situation that came up that delayed things, right? So things like that are going to happen, okay? But you just do your best guess because it's just going to give you sort of that prediction. All right, I'm going to go into a contact and show you how to create an opportunity and then show you kind of where this shows up. I'm going to click on contacts. And I am going to find Bugs Bunny here. Oh, I don't have those in here anymore. Okay. Go to Fred Flintstone. And if you don't do this already, I'm just going to suggest that you put some fake people in command and name them with like a cartoon character or something. And the reason I say that is it's very easy for me to pick out which ones are the fake ones because it's Fred Flintstone, right? If I just made up a name, I might not remember if that's a real person or not. By it being Fred Flintstone, I know it's a fake one. Okay, so just do it because here's the thing. It gives you a chance of to have a contact that you can play with, do anything to, you know, it doesn't matter. It's not a real person you get to practice on. All right, so I've used him as an example before, so I've already got 2 opportunities sitting here just because that's something I do all the time, right, when I'm teaching classes. To get to your opportunities, all I had to do was in command, I clicked on opportunities. And it will show you any opportunities you have that for a contact. So if you want to try it right now, go right ahead. Make a contact for whatever cartoon character you want, Fred Flintstone or whoever. Put in a, fake phone number, fake email.
Hi, Kirsten. Can you hear me?
What's that? Hey, I just saw you on Zoom, so I'm sorry I missed you. So we've got contact open, and right now we opened up a contact. And then after we got into the contact, we went to the opportunities tab and we did create opportunity. Or opportunity. So you just have a contact. Okay, now I'm going to hit create opportunity. You see where create opportunity is over on the right side? Yeah. Okay, excellent. All right, when I click create opportunity, what that does is it opens up this little window here for me to type some things in about this opportunity. All right, so some of these things you're going to know early on. Some of them you might be guessing. All right, we're going to just pretend this is a buyer. Okay, and the reason I'm doing buyer is that most people, their first client and the buyer clients. We'll just do it like a buyer. All right, so we've got Fred Flintstone, and then where it says opportunity type, I'm going to choose buyer. Here's why you have to do this. You have to do that straight up at the beginning. And that's because later on, when you get to the point where you're going to be writing a buyer agreement, command is automatically needs to know that this is a buyer, so that when you go to DocuSign, you're going to automatically have the documents that are meant for buyers. And that room will be marked as a buyer. So for everything to work properly, you need to choose whether this person is a buyer or seller. Right, now what do you think we do if somebody is selling their house and buying their house? That's very common. So they're going to move, they're going to get a bigger house, they're going to sell their house and buy a new one. What do you think we do? Excellent. Put two opportunities in. You're going to have one contact with two opportunities. Okay. Another example of that, I work with a lot of investors. So I might have an investor. Okay, I have an investor I sold 6 houses for. I have 6 opportunities there. Every transaction is one opportunity. Okay. I'm going to say one more thing that a lot of people have run into. If you are running into trouble with your opportunity and you're not sure what's wrong, I don't want you to just make another one. Okay, and the reason I don't want you to do that is maybe the thing that we could fix, maybe something we just have something wrong and I can tell you how to fix it. If there's 2 in there, it gets really confusing, and you're working in one and then you're working in the other, you might get the wrong one. What I'll probably do if you really got it wrong, like if you made a buyer opportunity and it was supposed to be a listing opportunity, we're going to do something called archiving. Okay. But so each transaction is one opportunity. If a person is buying multiple houses, selling multiple houses, buying one, selling one, anytime there's more than one, you make an opportunity for every single transaction. All right, now we've said that this person is a buyer. Maybe there's a co-buyer. All right, so if there's 2 people, could be a couple, could be, I have a client who's a daughter and mother buying a house together. I've had people who were business partners buy an investment property together. So if there's more than one buyer, you can add a co-buyer here. You would have to have already put them in your command. And I have Wilma Flintstone already in my command. See, I took this up already to make it easy, right? And you can see I already have her in here. So I was able to choose Wilma Flintstone as a co-buyer so that both of those contacts are linked to that opportunity. Okay? Tricky, huh?
Put their phone number.
So each contact has their individual phone number. Right, so I have one contact with Fred with his email, his phone number, and actually, like I told you, I've had investors who are partners, so they have different addresses too, right? So each contact has their own personal contact info. Okay, within the app, you put the opportunity with one of them, and then add the other one as the co-buyer.
Maybe that person information.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a great question. Thank you for asking that. Did you guys hear the question on Zoom? The question was, just in case you did, does their contact information carry over? And the answer is yes, if you put that other co-buyer in. Okay. As I scroll down, I'm going to see some things that I don't know the answers to if this is a buyer. Right? So if you just start working with a buyer, you don't know what the close date's going to be. You don't know how much they're spending. You might have an idea of what their pre-approval is. You know, that might not be the final sales price though, right? So we're going to guess. We also might not know our commission rate, right? Most of the time, maybe it's 2.5%. You might have one that's a 3%. That's okay. All we're doing here is guessing. Okay, and if you remember at the very beginning of class, when I opened up my opportunities, Command was giving me, if you saw it over on the right side, it was telling me like how much commission was expected. That's what these numbers are used for. It's only used for projections. And I say that because sometimes when people are doing this, they say, well, I don't know exactly what my commission rate is going to be. You don't have to. We're taking a guess. All right, so let's guess on a few things. So let's say that in my conversation with Fred, he said that he's planning to buy around March. So I'm just going to put March 15th of next year. If it turns out to be faster, fine. I'm just taking my best guess. Time frame is sort of the same idea. It's just is this a 1 month out person, a 3 month out when they're trying to look? Okay. So 3 months and 6 months. I'm going to do 3. He said March. I'm going to start looking in 3 months. Okay. Budget, I'm going to guess that he's 400,000. I'm going to put the commission rate at 2.5%. Again, I don't know if it's 2.5%, but I'm just going to guess that because so many are. And then my last thing I have to do is choose an opportunity phase and then stage. So let's look at these phases. Okay, the phases for buyers are cultivate, appointment, active. Okay, and then later under contract and closed. I'm going to use cultivate when I'm just having a conversation with somebody, but we have not yet scheduled an appointment. Once I have an appointment scheduled, if I already had talked to him on the phone and immediately scheduled an appointment, I choose appointment. Let's say that happened. Let's say that he called me out of the blue and he's ready to meet with me tomorrow and we made an appointment. Then instead of doing cultivate, I would do appointment. Okay, it's for planning purposes only. So if this changes, it's no big deal. Doesn't hurt you at all if you do the wrong numbers. Because I changed my phase to appointment, and I have different options. I've got pre-appointment, appointment scheduled, and post-appointment. Okay, so let's just say it's pre-appointment or appointment scheduled. I'll do that. All right, so in here we're putting what our best guess is, our closest approximation of what we think it is. Any questions on this before I hit create? Well, I got this open. All right. Okay, let's do it then. I'm going to click create. Okay, command creates an opportunity. So here's a new opportunity I just made. It says Fred Flintstone buyer. Okay. Everybody there? Yes? Okay. You there? Okay, let's go to that opportunity and look what it looks like. So I'm going to click on, see that is a link there that says Fred Flintstone buyer. I'm going to click right on it. And it opens up the opportunity. Right on the line, let me go back to it. Go back. I am on Fred Flintstone. I'm just clicking right on Fred Flintstone buyer. Okay. All right, within the opportunity, there are a bunch of tabs. The first one is details, and I'm going to use details to tell command things about this opportunity. Documents is where we're going to go there in a second. That's where I'm going to store documents related to that transaction. Offers and commissions is where I put my commission. And then I've got notes and timeline. I don't use those as much. It's these three that you're going to use all the time. Okay. So let's just start looking at the details a little bit. Okay, so let's say I noticed something, you know, I put an estimated close date, March 15th, but now I just talked to him on the phone and he's thinking he actually wants to move it up forward. You know, so now it's going to be December 31st. He's really trying to do it this year. Okay, that's a very typical thing for things to change. Next to each of these boxes, there's a little pencil. I think this is too light colored. I think it's really hard to see it. People don't notice it. So I'm just really pointing it out. If you hover over the pencil, it turns darker and you can see it a little better. But just always be looking at that little faint gray pencil. So if I go to any one of these phases, I can click the little pencil next to it and then make some changes to it. Okay, so for me, I click the little pencil next to the key dates. Okay, and it has what I have at the top. So it says Market Center, Huntstone, my owner, all the stuff I already did. But then as I scroll down, I can change some things. So I said I wanted to move the estimated close date up to December 31st. No, that's a Sunday. I'll put it December 29th. I can also start adding details about things that have happened. Okay, appointment scheduled and appointment date. All right, so I'm going to do that. Let's say that I talked to him today. Okay, so appointment, I scheduled an appointment today. Today is the 11th. And I made an appointment for Monday the 16th. All right, I could go ahead and put that in there right now. See that? You look like, okay. You had a questioning face. Okay, you got it good. Okay. Good. And then later on, I'll put in what day I get the buyer agreement signed, what day it goes under contract, what day it closes. Now, here's the thing. If you don't go in and do this, there are nothing bad happens. Okay, it's only for your planning purposes. That's what this is for. It's so that I can see what's coming up and what commission I can expect. That's what it's for. So don't stress over it. Don't feel like you've got to be super accurate. You can always change it, and it only matters for planning. It doesn't actually change your paycheck. So, you know, keep that in mind, okay? I'd like to fill in as much as I can, because then I've kind of got all that information there for later, should I ever need it. And command's going to help me predict my income better. Okay, so I like to go in and change it. All right, so we put in some changes there. There's dates at the bottom for when the home inspection was. Some of these dates don't use the words that we in Maryland always use. You know, like escrow signing date means settlement date. But, you know, again, it's for recording purposes only. All right, I'm going to hit save. It takes me back to the documents. Let's say that I already have this appointment scheduled. Let's say now he had his appointment already. I want to change that. I'm going to click the little pencil. It's an appointment scheduled. Pretend I just had it. I'll change it to post appointment. And then hit save. So at any point, I can go in and edit these things. Okay. Now let's say we looked at houses. And now I know the address that he's buying. Okay. So what I can do, I can change the opportunity name. Instead of Fred Flintstone -buyer, my personal practice is to change that to the property address. Okay, let's do that. Let's do. Okay, you know, you can put. Okay, I like to do that because later on it's much easier for me to find things by the property address. And if the person has more than one property, when more than one transaction, it makes it much more clear. And I'm thinking of you in the future, when this person comes back to you as a client 5 years from now and decides to sell this house and buy another, then you're gonna have each opportunity clearly saying which house it was for. Or your client decides to buy an investment property. They're living in their house, they're buying a second one. It makes it more clear if you use the property address. All right, so in this section, you can see over on the right, I can put in all the details of the property also. Right, I'm not gonna take the time to do it right now since we already saw how to do that. Parties to the transaction. I can put in who is the title company, who's the lender, who's the home warranty, okay? Great for record keeping later. Anybody seen this before? Ernest.
I know what earnest money is when I first see it on it.
Yes, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Do you know what that's for? Is to have them do a transfer of the earnest money to our office.
Oh.
Yes. So if I click send earnest request, I'm not going to actually do it. Okay, it's going to tell me what I have to do. So it's going to click continue, blah, blah, blah. It takes me over to earnest. I'm not really going to do it this time, but you would walk through step by step and request that they send their EMD with electronic transfer. Pretty nice, you know?
Oh, no more check.
You don't have to use a check. I don't know about you, but I sometimes have buyers who are kind of younger who've never written a check, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so that's nice to have that. Your laptop's right there. I thought you would want that. Yeah, really good. Yeah, really good. All right, so with that detail section, again, it's really for reporting goals, you know, my goal purposes at first. And you're going to make your best guess. Make your best guess. I'm going to switch to a real client so that you can see one that has actual documents, because this is a made up person. So I'm going to go to somebody that I have sold a bunch of houses for. Okay. I want you to see what this looks like. All right, so here's my client, and you can see I've got 6 opportunities for him. Right, I've done 6 listings for him because he's a rehabber, so he buys houses, flips them, and sells them. So for each of these, it's all separate documents. So you can see how I just have separate opportunities for each one. If I click on the opportunity, okay, you see I've entered in the address, right? I put all that information in. I don't know if I put in all of the, I might not have put in all the dates. A lot of these dates got added pretty recently, so most of my opportunities don't have anything entered in them. That's okay. I have a new thing. All right. Here's also a marketing tab that you're going to see for listings. You're not going to see this tab for buyers because you don't market your buyer, but you do market your listings. This is not something we can spend a lot of time on today. Next week, we have not next week. I'm gone next week. Next 2 plan classes are going to be about using designs. The first one will be about creating buyer listing presentations. The second one is called Market Your Listing. And we're going to spend that whole class on doing just this because it's a pretty big topic. But I wanted to point this out to you because here's what's going on. Command automatically puts things in this slot here that makes sense given the stage that the listing is in. So this is a closed listing, it's sold. So I'm seeing suggestions for what I could do with a sold listing. Okay, if I had an active listing, it would show me some open house templates and things. So just put a pin in this to come back to in a couple of weeks, because it's really powerful to have these templates right here. We have a class called Market Your Listing. I forget what day it's on. It's in a few weeks, but that's where we're really going to be covering that. All right, I'm going to click on the Documents tab. Whether you have a buyer or seller, you should be uploading your documents to Command. You're going to, when you take the DocuSign class, you'll learn how those 2 things connect together. Okay, you already have to have them in DocuSign, but once you have done things in DocuSign, linking them into Command is as easy as going down this list, going to the pop-up menu and finding that document in my list. That's all I have to do to link it to my command. If I go here and choose, see, it's already done, so it's not showing them. So I don't have a great example to show you. But each of these things that are in this list, I'm going to link when you get to the DocuSign class, when you take the DocuSign class, you're going to see how to make your documents in DocuSign. Command sees that they're in DocuSign, gets them from the room, and all I have to do is choose that document from this list, and then it shows up right there. Here's why that's good for you. What's good for you is I can come back to this in 5 years and go look at that property inspection report because I've got it in such an organized way. It's sitting right here. Okay. I don't have to hunt for it, not looking anywhere. As soon as I had it, I put it in command, I linked to it from DocuSign, and it's right there. Okay. So you will see that when you get to the DocuSign class. I also want you to notice that I've got approved, 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 green, approved. Okay. To get paid, that's what you need. It needs to say approved, approved, approved. So here's the mistake a lot of agents make. Some agents wait until about the day before settlement or the day after settlement, and then they start putting their documents in here. So what happens if they forgot a signature? When you put a document in here, you're then going to hit the button right here. It'll say submit. You hit submit, and somebody looks over your documents to make sure that you've not forgotten any signatures. I have a habit of forgetting when I do a buyer agency agreement, I forget to sign it. Everything's perfect about it. The client signed it a couple times a year. I forget to sign it. And then instead of it saying approved, it tells me I have to fix something. Okay, so I don't want you to have your settlement delayed. Sorry, not your settlement. I don't want your payment to be delayed because you haven't uploaded everything properly, right? So what we want to do, best practice is to upload these within like 48 hours of getting something signed. The reason I say that is if I forgot to do something, it's really embarrassing enough to do it in the first place. But if it's 3 months later and I'm asking them to sign it, that's when it's much more embarrassing, right? And you haven't been protected the whole time because you didn't sign the stupid thing, right? So do this part as soon as you can. Upload your documents when you have them. Personally, I just do them as I get them right away. Even things like I'll get just like a random receipt from a chimney repair. I'll just right away put it in command. It's not required to be command if it's a chimney repair. I like it here so that I can get to it quickly. I don't have to hunt around for anything. I know exactly where all of my documents are going to be. The documents are divided by listed, under contract, and closed. So if I click on under contract, you're going to see it's a whole different list. So the ones under listed, I'm going to have my listing agreement, consent for dual agency, the things you sign at a listing appointment. When I click on under contract, I'm seeing the documents I needed for the contract. So look, I've got a contract of sale. I've got the property inspections addendum. I've got their FHA financing form, GBR, general addendum, notice to buyer and seller. Each one is listed there. Okay. Pre-approval letter, the copy of the EMD, seller contribution, all of those things are in there. When I click on closed, I've got some other things here. Not only have the ALTA, my settlement statement, that's got to be there. That's the most important thing, right? But I personally put other things there as well. So I've got inspection reports here. I've got the signed pin here. See what else I have. I didn't have any other things. Sometimes I'll have receipts. Sometimes, whatever. I might have an appraisal sometimes. Anything I have for that transaction that I want to be able to keep track of, I just link it into command. And then there are some slots that say other. Oh, here it is. Additional documents received. You can just put whatever you want there. And I do that all the time with with just a random thing that I have that I want to make sure I can access later if I need to. Okay. It's a big picture. You need to know how to use DocuSign first, and I'm definitely not able to get into that today. But once you know how to use DocuSign, if I want to link a document here, all I have to do is go to the pop-up menu to the right, and select that document. And then it will link it. And I'm not going to do it because I don't want to mess up my nice neat file that has all the correct documents. It's a real one, so I don't want to mess it up. And with this, because this is linked to DocuSign, at any point I can click go to transaction and see all of my documents in that DocuSign room. So I log in, switches me to that room, and I see all the documents that are there. Okay. Any question on that before I get to the next tab?
I have a quick question. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes. To upload it for it to be on command, do you do it through DocuSign?
Yes. In order for this to work, the document has to already be in DocuSign.
Thank you.
So yeah, sure. That's a great question. So if you sign them using DocuSign, you already have it there. But maybe a lot of times I might have something signed in person, right? I'm going to scan that thing in and put it in my DocuSign room when that happens. So that's a good, really good question. I'm glad you asked that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So once you get it, like on the other side where it says residential and you have listed and it says approved.
Yeah.
And under contract, it won't be green, so it won't be approved. But can you click on that if you haven't gotten to that under contract? Can you still click on that and see the forms in that as well?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
at any point, if you just go into one right now, you're going to see everything there, even whether or not it's been approved, whether or not you're at that stage. They're all there. You know, because sometimes, like, I'll add things into the closed section before it's closed, like my property inspection. It hasn't closed yet. I'm just doing it right away, just so I don't forget. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a nice checklist too, because it tells you which, what things are. And I just want to point this out. If you hover over that little I, it tells you when you need that document. So some of them say conditional. So like here, W-9, if there is a referral, a copy of the W-9 is required. So this did not have a referral, so I don't need it. So it explains when you need that document if you hover over that little I, which is very helpful. Yeah, so I would absolutely suggest that you do this early. Don't wait till the last minute. Do it as you go along. As you have documents, go ahead and upload them. It'll just be less stressful for you, and you won't lose your documents. And if you've made a mistake, you'll be able to correct it quickly instead of waiting, till much long after. All right, I'm going to show you something that comes up occasionally, but it's kind of hard to figure out. So make sure I get to this. Okay. So this way. Right to J. Okay. So anybody ever have a house? Maybe if you haven't done a listing, you haven't had this. Sometimes you have a listing and things fall apart. And then that buyer drops out, you have to get a new one. Sometimes you have a buyer. You go to the inspection. Something bad happens at the inspection. They get out of the contract. Now you're working on a new contract, right? So the thing about that is you would have already uploaded your documents. You've already got things approved. What if I've had contracts fall through very close to settlement? I've already done things, got them approved, all of that. So sometimes you have more than one transaction. And I'm going to go to one of mine. This actually fell apart twice. So I had a buyer that when we did the inspection in this particular property, the chimney was in really bad shape. And we had said in the listing that it was sold as is. The chimney was as is, but they still got it inspected and it was pretty bad and they wanted to get out. So they got out. And then the second buyer's financing fell through. So I had it fall through twice and then it finally settled on the third one. So I want to point out to you what you do in that situation. And especially, even if you don't remember exactly how do you do it, at least you know there's something you do and you can always ask me, what do I do again? You know that there's something you're supposed to do. So what I'm seeing right now are the documents that are with, these are my listing documents. Under contract, these are the documents with the final time it was under contract. Not the other two, just the final one. But let me just show you this. This little pop-up menu next to the word under contract lets me make a click add version. And what add version does is it gives you a whole new blank set of these fields to put things in. So you can see I have under contract, and then I have their last names, and it's all different documents because I have 3 different contracts. So if I go here and choose add version, my old documents are still there, which I need to keep them there. I need to have those. What if there's some legal thing that happens with one of those past buyers, right? Those documents have to be there. Gives me a new set, a new way to upload. And that's just for the under contract. Any questions on that? Okay. All right. Commissions, that's the part we really like, right? All right. You can see I've got 3 commission things in here, and the reason I have 3 is that it fell through, right? A couple of times. So if I click on offers and commissions, this is where I set up my commissions. And I'm going to go back to Fred Flintstone here because I want to actually do this, and I don't want to mess up my old. I'm always hesitant to change, There you go. All right, let's go back to Fred. This opportunity, Cherry Street, offers and commissions. All right, so this is a brand new one, just so we had something I could play with, but I'm not messing up my real transactions. I personally start doing my commission when the house is under contract. I don't wait until later. Okay, I do it early on. And that's because I want to get paid as quickly as possible. And if settlement happens and I happen to be really busy, I don't want to do this while I'm rushing. Because I know that for me personally, that's when I make mistakes, is when I'm trying to do things too fast. So you can enter everything in about your commission and wait to submit it until you actually settle. Let's take a look. I'm going to start, right now it says no offers for this deal. I'm going to click add new offer. What would you like to call this offer? You can just leave it as initial offer if you want to. The only reason to change this is if you're going to put every offer you receive into this, which you don't have to do. I'm just going to leave it there. It's nice to name it something different though, if you've had something that's fallen through and you need to do, and you have multiple offers that you're going to put in. Okay. And there's things to enter. Offer date, close date. Okay. So I told you I do this early on. I'll just do whatever day the settlement date is in the contract. And if that changes, I can just come in here and change it. It's no big deal. So I put November 17th in. If something gets delayed and it settles on November 20th, no big deal. I just come in and change it. And I'm going to put in the property address. These are real addresses here, so I'm just going to put my home address in there. It's just I need an address. Right? It's going to take us through several screens. These are the screens we're going to go through. Right? So I put that in. I'm going to go to parties. It asks for the buyer name. It asks for the seller name. Okay. The seller name then. You do not need to enter in anything else for the other party other than their name, because you probably don't have it. If you're working for the buyer, you have the listing agent's address, but you don't have their phone number, you don't have their email. Totally fine to leave those blank. At the bottom, it asks for the other agent's name. So it already put my name in here automatically. Now it's asking for the other agent's name. All right, tenants Kim. All right, and then I'll put her phone number in. Next screen asks me for the terms. What are the terms of this offer? And I'll start filling it in. How much is the buyer paying in cash? How much are they financing? What's the sales price? They are putting down 50,000, they're financing 350, a total of 400,000. And then I'll put in how much their earnest money was. Okay. You might also have a seller contribution. I'm going to enter that in if that's the case. And if the seller contributes $8,000 toward the settlement costs. So whatever it is for this offer, you're going to put it in. And like I said before, you're putting in whatever's on the contract. If things change, no big deal. You just come back and change it. Any questions before I move on? Next screen is agent analysis. I just leave this blank. I don't bother putting anything in here. If you'd like to, it doesn't hurt anything. Go right ahead. And then I hit save. Okay. I'm going to accept this and then I'm going to take it out again just so clients they aren't, I've got a fake thing in here. All right, it's showing me here are the details of this offer. Right. In order to go through compliance, I have to click accept. Go through payment, I click accept, and then I can click manage commission, and then I'm going to be able to see everything that I am going to be, what exactly my check's going to be. Look, say I've got something ready. I don't have a contract date. It's making me put that in because I contract date and now it's going to work. Okay. If I scroll down, you can see how this commission breaks down. Okay. The commission is $10,000. It's taking out, what I have to pay to the brokerage, what I pay to Keller Williams that I split. And then if I wanted to, I could put in some deductions. Like, for example, if you wanted to, you can make a donation. All right, maybe you would have, let's say that you need to pay a referral fee to somebody else. That's pretty common. And if I want to add something to what's here automatically, I'm going to click edit agent payment. And then I can put that in. At the bottom, there's an option that says add item. And I have to, let's say I need to pay an outside referral fee to another agent. I'm paying them 25%. And then I would need to put their name in. Okay, I'm going to cancel this because I don't want it to, I'm going to mess with everybody in the office right now. But you can see what I can do is I just put in who else I have to pay. This is what you need to do if you have to pay a referral fee to like one of these companies. Like if you get a lead from Op City or Prime Street or something like that, let us know. We have a PDF with instructions about exactly what to enter in here for those things. So anytime something has to come out of it, like a referral fee, you put it right in there. You might have a bonus. Like let's say that you are charging a $4.95 admin fee to your client. Most of us do that. We have an admin fee. If it's going to Julie, you don't do this split with Market Center. If you're not using Julie and Bullpen, you keep that, then it would be split with the market section. Again, I'm going to hit cancel. So overall, it'll automatically figure out the commission for me with my regular split. That happens automatically. But if there's something else about the transaction that changes my money, I need to go ahead and do edit agent payment and put that in there. Okay. Any questions on that? How do we cancel this? Yeah. So don't hit submit is the big thing. And we're going to, I'll take it out in a second. Okay. Let's get back to that. Yeah. So, if you just click on the documents tab and then back on the offers and commissions tab, You can do change response. Yes, I want to change the response. And then I'll be able to decline it and turn it away. And I'll do reject. See that? And now it's gone. Yeah. All right. So again, what I'm really suggesting you do is do this early. Don't wait, because then you're rushing. And that's when you make mistakes. That's when you forget that you were supposed to pay somebody a referral fee, you know, and then you've got a big kerfuffle, right? When they didn't get the referral fee and, you know, they're mad and now you're having to redo everything. It'll just save you a lot of time. If you, when you're not rushing, sit and make sure those numbers are correct. And then, like I said, if something changes, go back to edit payment and change it right away. You know, like a couple days before settlement, you know, there's a concession or something, you know, or right after the inspection, there's a concession. That's the one I have most often, is we've got a new seller concession because something came up in the inspection. Let's change it. So also this cool little button right up here, over in the upper right, you can generate transaction summary, and that will give you a summary of everything that happened in the transaction. This is what it looks like. Just kind of like a nice little PDF of everything. You know, if you like that. Let me go back to my whole pipeline. All right. So each of these, we worked a lot with one opportunity. So each of these phases and stages, command has a different probability that it's going to go through. So if I have a buyer that's in cultivate, like there's only a small chance that that's going to go through. A lot of those buyers, you know, might not ever get there. Maybe they'll never buy, or maybe I will be their agent. I don't even have an appointment with them. This is just somebody who I've had conversations with and they have an intention of buying. It gets a little more likely it'll go through once we've had an appointment. Once they're active, once we're shopping for houses, then it's much more likely, right? If they're already at that stage, now they've gotten pre-approved, we're looking at houses, they're committing some time, so it's even more likely. Once it's under contract, well, even the likelihood even goes up further, right? Because now we're under contract, it still could fall through, something might come up with the inspection. And then, of course, close. So what command automatically does is it takes everything you entered into this opportunity and gives you what the potential income is from that and what the probable income is from that. And as you move people from one state to the other, the probability will go up. I'm going to go into my buyers just so you can see this. I'm going to do things about my screen, but it's not a cultivate here. Okay. So I'm just going to mess something up. Let's say that one of these buyers, this person was a 3 to 9 month buyer. I just got off the phone with her, and now it's a hot buyer. Okay, we already saw how you could click edit details and do all that. Here's a quicker way. I just drag it over here, it's in that section now. I don't have to change anything, you just drag it. Yeah, much easier, huh? Yeah, I can even drag it, look, from here to appointment. And now she's under in the appointment section. So within these, I can drag people from one spot to another as they move along the pipeline. Yeah. And I want to point out to you, these are the percentages that command assigns. So somebody in pre-appointment has a 10% chance of settling. Post-appointment, 20%. I'm sorry, 30%. If I look under active, 50%. Once we're searching, once I'm showing houses, 70, negotiations 80, you know, so it just kind of keeps moving up of the percent chance that it is that they're gonna close. So I just think it's a great tool for you to use for predicting your income. And you have to do it anyway to get paid, so you might as well get good at it, right? All right. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So say you have, you're doing a listing,
Yes,
okay? Because I know you said it in opportunities, you don't create another one, right? So if you have
that's
someone
right.
that's listing their house and then now
Yes.
they're a buyer, how do you do that?
That's a second opportunity. So
Okay,
every transaction is a different opportunity. So in that case, if you, that happens a lot. You have a person who's gonna buy one house and sell the house they're living in right now, right? So you make a buyer opportunity and a listing opportunity and
okay,
treat them as separate transactions. Good
okay.
question. Thank you.
Mhm.
Anything else? All right, like if you were here in the last class, Alana mentioned that I'm trying to get my Keller Williams University certification, and I really need your help. So if you wouldn't mind, please go to kwuevals.com. I'm gonna pull it up right here, kwuevals.com. Oops, kwueval without the s.com. Sorry. I would so appreciate it if you would do me a favor and do an eval. We're going to use 3 simple steps to start command as the name of the class because this class is not the one in the list. So what I'm going to ask you to do is go to that website. Our region is Maryland and DC. You can say whether you're in person or virtual, and then we'll do 3 simple steps to start in command. When you get to the next screen, because I'm not yet a Keller Williams University, not there yet, where it has the instructors, these are the people who've already passed it. I'm not there yet. You're gonna go all the way to the bottom. Instructor number 1, not in drop down. And I'm putting my name in here so you can see how to spell it. Okay. 3 simple steps. Just call it that. That's what it's on. KIRSTEN, S as in Sam, ITNICK. Thank you. All right. Thank you all so much for coming today. It's a late start, a late end, and now I'm late for my Zoom call with somebody. It's one of those days. Like,
it's me.
oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's me.
I totally forgot.
Remember first thing, so I'm already there.
I couldn't even remember who I was having this meeting with today.
Yeah, you're still my lead now. Yeah,
Exactly. Okay. Gosh, I totally forgot that. That's what kind of day it is. I don't even know what I'm doing today.
You're just here, you're like, okay, what's next?
Right, exactly. It's been that day. All right, well, everybody on Zoom, thank you so much for coming today. There will be no command class next week because my daughter's getting married and I'm gonna be off next week. But the following week, we'll be coming back and we're going to get into the most popular classes. People love these the most, which are the designs one. So in 2 weeks, we'll be doing creating a buyer or listing presentation using command. And then the week after that, we're still in designs and we'll be marketing your listing. Even if you don't have listings, take that class because the designs are the same, whether you're working with buyers, sellers, whether you're marketing yourself or anything. So we will have a lot of things in that class that are only appropriate for a listing. But even if it's not your listing, you might be doing an open house. So you still need to be there, even if you don't have your own listing, if you're going to do open houses, or if you want to use those same skills for buyer and just marketing yourself. So the next 2 classes are super fun. Oh, that's sure. SITNICK. I need to make myself a slide that has that like big.
But it's not hard to spell your first name or your last name because it's from here, it's kind of hard to see if the I is where the I is.
You know what's really funny? Like, so people get Kristen all the time, which I totally understand. But you know what people call me all the time to see my name in writing? Karen. What? Karen.
Karen,
All the time. all the time. Isn't that crazy? It's not even close. The only thing I can think of is it's like starts with a K and ends with an N.
Yeah, or yeah, but there's no,
Yeah.
that's
Like it's emails. I get so many emails that say, "Hi, Karen." I'm like, my name's right there, you know? What? Like probably once a month. Like that's how often it happens. It's so weird. Yeah, I think it's really funny. And then I'll reply and like make sure I put my name in there, and then they still keep calling me Karen. So, you know. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for showing. There are not class. No, which is good.